Hello, and welcome to this breakout of the box for the Enneatype 9, the Mediator, entitled Take a Stand. So first, let's start with a little bit about the Enneatype 9, the Mediator, before I get into a real-life example of how this type shows up in a work scenario. So there are more Enneatype mediators than any other of the 8 types. They are also very difficult to identify as this type naturally adapts, like a chameleon, to any one of the other 8 Enneatypes. They have mastered the skill of blending in. They do this because they downplay and minimize their own self-interests. They were not encouraged to express their own thoughts, wants, or needs, and as a result, they do not know what they want. The 9 is generally optimistic, positive, and trusting, and will put other people first, often deferring their own plans, and instead will follow the ideas and wants of others. They quickly grasp all sides of the issue and find merit in all of them. Yet, this constant repression of self creates resentment and stress, which they hold inside instead of releasing, and in turn creates internal conflict and even more avoidance. The repressed anger plays out as passive-aggressive behavior and is expressed as resistance, avoidance, withdrawal, delay, or forgetfulness, and verbally as negative comments or comparisons and a lot of criticism. A revealing trait of the 9 is their indecisiveness. Because the 9 does not have a strong self-identity, decision-making is difficult and can cause extreme suffering, as the inevitable is avoided, or fate takes over and someone else decides for them. Yet, everyone wants to have 9s as friends. They are encouraging and supportive. They appreciate people and have a high tolerance for the differences in every person. They rejoice in other successes and are accepting, forgiving, and generous. This type is described as the salt of the earth, and they work hard for peace, harmony, and connection. So I promised to talk about a typical work situation for a 9. I was coaching a client who was very distraught about her work environment, caught between being responsible and dedicated to her work and coworkers, and a manager who were all constantly projecting negative and non-constructive comments and behavior. Her days would end with extreme frustration, not knowing what she should do. She was miserable, yet couldn't decide on whether to stay or leave. So when stressed, a 9 has a tendency to freeze and get stuck in fear, unable to act, or they can even become paranoid. My client really didn't enjoy her profession, yet she held a degree in it and was professionally proficient. So if you recall, I said that a primary trait of the 9 is indecisiveness. My client was caught in the classic stress traits of the type: conflict avoidance, being unclear of her own wants and needs, and not being able to make a decision. So a fundamental objective of coaching from a place of being stuck is to help the person to recognize they are in a hole, to help reveal the unsupportive mental beliefs and perceptions in play, and then to guide the client to begin to visualize the life they desire. The process is to explore what the person values, enjoys, and has a passion for, and then introduce the power of possibility thinking. The Enneagram is a great tool to reveal in a non-personal way the holes we fall into. Once my client saw how the stress traits of the 9 were the cause of her distress, she quickly became aware that the negativity in her workplace had a lot to do with her perception of the situation. So she practiced tools to accept and be comfortable with her work colleagues' communication styles. And after a very short time, she was able to stay present and contribute in the conversation, when earlier it felt like confrontation, problems, and conflict. She still has moments when she wants to retreat and not deal with it all, yet she is aware of her type's behavior, and the time it takes to shift to acceptance has become shorter and shorter. So with this piece of my client's life now unstuck, space opened to explore from a non-stress position what she really wanted to do for her livelihood, and we began to put into place a plan to move her steadily toward her goal. So here are some practices to support developing to your higher self. So when you're feeling stressed, reconnect with your body to help relax the mind from running away with worst-case scenarios. The growth for a 9 is to discover who you are as an individual. There are many resources and processes to help you with this. One that I love and I highly recommend is Danielle Laporte's Desire Map. Check it out. And then the 9s are naturals in creating a world that works for everyone. The world needs 9 leaders to take a stand and shine your special traits. You can find a written copy of this Breakout of the Box at my website at www.where-lifeworks.com, and for others in the Breakout of the Box series, plus resources like determining your own Enneagram type to get you started. And while you are there, drop me a note. I would love to hear from you. Till next time, be well.